Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
My name is Roland Mark Rolls, and you're watching Cheap Shot Entertainment.
This is awesome! This is awesome!
Hello and welcome once again to Cheap Shot Entertainment. You are the Cheap Shot Nation, and hello and welcome once again to Cheap Shot Entertainment. As ever, you are the Cheap Shot Nation, and I am your host, Luke. And we're going to take you through everything that happened at Future 23. It took place on the 29th of June 2019 in the Grosvenor Rooms in Sutton in Ashfield, in Mansfield. Really good show, always good shows for Future. £6 on the door, £10 for two shows, saving you £2 if you wanted to go to the show on the following day, which was at Shirebrook Welfare. Incidentally, Shirebrook Welfare have started doing a carvery lunch on the Sunday, so if you did go over to Shirebrook to watch wrestling, you could potentially have a carvery lunch for less than £10, and I wasn't paid to say that, but it smelled absolutely lovely while I was sat eating my Sahara's beer nuts from the machine. So really good show, a lot of stuff to get through. If you want to follow us on social media, you can do just that by following us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. We also now have a blog spot, that's cheapshotentertainment.blogspot.co.uk, where we will list everywhere where we're going and have some other bits in there. Got a list of contributors potentially going to contribute to that blog spot as well as having a close to order store. So when we get some designs for t-shirts, we will put them on there. They'll be available for you at a reasonable price, and it feeds back into our studio and our production values and things like that by giving us a bit of commission. So if you like the t-shirts that we are going to put on there eventually, or hats or whatever, you can choose your product, then go and do that, and it will help the channel out if you fancy doing that, getting a cool bit of merchandise as well. Anyway, let's get on into the show. We've got a lot to get through. It was a crazy night in the Grosvenor Rooms, so strap yourself in. So before we get into the video, just want to say a quick thank you to Mark Banger Rolls, who did the intro for us. I think he was really surprised that we'd asked him to do it, but it was on the request of today's birthday girl. It is the 10th of July, so it's taken a long time to do this video, but my niece TJ is 11 today, so yeah, big shout out to TJ from everybody at Cheap Shot Entertainment, including yourself. That sounded better in my head, but yeah, big happy birthday to her. Embarrassing uncle moments coming up later on, so stick around for that. So Mark Banger Rolls, I think he was very surprised that TJ had asked him, but thank you anyway for promoting the channel. Always one of Cheap Shot's favourites, and even though your matches are really weird, they are really entertaining, but we'll get to that anyway. So we get for the first match, just as we arrived, because I was at work and I left late because work, just got in for the wrestlers coming out for the first match, and it was Brandon Brooks versus Miles Kamen, and a really good show, really good showcase of two young talents. We've seen Miles before, and I also saw him at WrestleGate Pro at Frontline on July the 6th. So yeah, bit of a time warp thingy going off here, but there you go. Miles Kamen, one to look out for. Brandon Brooks, another up-and-coming star from the East Midlands, training with House of Pain, of course, and now on Future. He's a Future mainstay along with quite a few of the other House of Pain staples. So Yeah, really good match, really good opener to the show, and it got the crowd really going for the rest of the show. And it would be Brandon Brooks who would pick up the win here via a springboard RKO on Miles Kamen. Your winner in this match was Brandon Brooks, the I don't know, teenage sensation. I don't know. He's not an old chap. I think he's about 17 and already a fantastic wrestler. So yeah, well done. Brandon Brooks picks up the victory over Miles Kamen. After the match, after a hard fought match, Brooks calls out Tank Jackson Baines and says, you know, goes back to last month where basically had a tag team match. Jackson Baines just laid waste to everybody in the ring and yeah, basically took out all of his frustration on Brandon Brooks, leaving him in a mess on the floor. His arms were everywhere and, you know, it looked really nasty in terms of, you know, telling the story. But he calls out Jackson Baines. He's not showing any fear here. I mean, Jackson could probably eat him for lunch, breakfast and dinner, and probably again the next day. Jackson is in the building, the Tank is in the vicinity, but he does not answer that call until later on in the night. Incidentally, this is why I love indie wrestling, because when Tank does come out later on, it is Brandon Brooks that is doing the sound for Future, and that's just why I love Future. I mean, everyone pitches in, it's big family atmosphere, it's a bit more child friendly, so you can take your kids down there and let them enjoy some wrestling, and make sure that your children, if they like wrestling, they do not grow up thinking that wrestling is a TV program on Sky, because you can go out and you can pay £5 for 3 hours of entertainment, and they can meet the wrestlers, they can shake their hands, they can have a chat with them, they can have a photo with them. If you're watching Raw or SmackDown or any other wrestling that's on TV, you can't do that. You can't shout at the wrestlers and let them hear you. You can't cheer for them. And that's why I love British indie wrestling. So that's my little rant for indie wrestling. Support indie wrestling and support the revolution of British wrestling right here on Cheap Shot Entertainment. Just gotta get that cheap shot in. Hey, right. So we know it is Luna Rox's open challenge. She's growing her hair out. She's lost a lot of the pink. Looks like a bit of a dip dye in this one. Open challenge match. Troy hits Omen's music, of course. Yeah, Troy is the big Papa Goose is on the sound at this point, and he hits the Omen's music. He gets a lot of stick for that, and being the professional that he is, he does come back to that later on and take the pee out of himself, which is again really, it is. It's not Luna Rox's open challenge. She's later on. It's Natalie Sykes' open challenge now. So Natalie Sykes comes out. Yeah, these are notes I made, and bearing in mind it's about 10 days ago. Natalie Sykes comes out, and who answers the open challenge? It is actually the Omen. So we've got a prelude to that, and it was Jack Turner who was forced by his manager to answer the open challenge. He doesn't want to. This Omen thing is, yeah, it's breaking down, and I think you know, initial buzz around it. We've lost one of the members now. I think they need to bring someone else in and start dominating again like they did before. So yeah, it would be Jack Turner who would win via submission, and it would be via the choke, because he was getting ready to choke slam Natalie Sykes, and she gave in straight away. Obviously Jack Turner being like 3 times the size of Natalie Sykes in this match made that happen. But yeah, it was an interesting match. Natalie Sykes gave everything she could in this match, going against a much larger opponent, but it would be Jack Turner of Omen, and one half of the future tag team champions who we haven't seen defend those championships for a while, so I'm hoping that will come soon, who would pick up the victory in this one. So we move on now to the first ever future chat show. It is the Goose's Roost, and this is where he takes the piss out of himself and takes the mickey and says, yeah, make sure you hit the right music, because it is really difficult to do that. But yeah, Troy Goose, absolute golden wrestler in the East Midlands. He is fantastic. This match, this talk show and match segment, however, went on for 55 minutes. I have confirmation of that from Troy himself. 55 minutes worth of gab and wrestling before the interval. I think everyone needed the interval by the end of it, but yeah, he unveils his new mascot. The mascot is a statue of a goose. It is called Maverick. I love Maverick. He's brilliant. I need a replica sat here on the desk of Maverick. So that is the mascot for the Goose's Roost. He introduces the guests for this show. It is Carl Kingsley and Luna Rocks, going back to how to make a relationship sustainable. Don't know what this has to do with wrestling, but if you've been following Future, you've known that Mark Banger Rolls, who did the opening for us, has been having a few problems with his tag team partner Scrappy Doo. Hustle Malone and Kieran Saint come out as well, and they interfere in this talk segment, and this is where everything goes a bit awry. Obviously Goose had an idea of what he wanted to do, bringing out a couple and then bringing out another tag team, and and Hustle just interjecting himself in there just for a laugh. Anyway, of course, he is one half of the Hope Tag Team Champions. Kieran Saint comes out and says he's not tag team partners with Mark Banger Rolls. Mark Banger Rolls comes out and says, why not? Why are we not doing this? Why are we not still a tag team? He still wants to be a tag team with Kieran Saint. He's the best tag team partner ever, even though he's turned his back on him several times already. So Jack Cave then comes out to chase the Goose off, because the Goose is all over Emma Morley, of course married to Jack Cave in real life, of course. We're going to break kayfabe here. And also the future announcer. And Goose has made no qualms about trying to pull Emma in the last how many shows that he's been on, and it does make for quite entertaining back and forths and some fantastic facial expressions from Emma Morley, so thank you for those, Emma. So Jack Cave comes out with Lucille, chases off Troy Goose after the match has been made. So Mark Banger Rolls is on one team with Jack Cave, and Hustle Malone and Kieran Saint is on the other side of the ring in a 6-man tag team match, and he is partnered with Luna Rocks and with Kyle Kingsley for this one. So yeah, we finally get into a match after about 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and the shenanigans don't stop there. So yeah, he chases Troy off. Troy screams and gets that high-pitched squeal that is so entertaining. It's really funny. And runs off with Maverick. He runs through the curtains, and away we go. So we get Saint, Rocks and Kingsley versus Cave, Hustle and Mark Banger Rolls. all the way through this, I really couldn't keep an eye on what was going off. It was Team Tall, as they dubbed themselves, Jack Cave, Hustle and Mark Banger Rolls. It was crazy. The whole segment was nuts, but this is why I love Future Wrestling, because it was ultimately entertaining, and I've not laughed that much in a long time. And wrestling is lacking a lot of comedy moments, which is why I like the 24/7 title. If you want daftness, you go to the 24/7 title. It knows it's daft, it knows it's out there, and that's what you get. You don't tune into 24/7 title segments wanting a serious matchup, 2 out of 3 falls, old school wrestling and all that kind of stuff. It's just the 24/7 title, and this is what we get from Goose and Hustle when those two get together. It is just really funny, and the match was exactly the same. There was a lot of shenanigans going off. Cave and Hustle Malone, they didn't even know what was going off in that match, and even Jack Cave said that is the craziest match I have ever been a part of. And he's been part of some crazy matches. I mean, look at his t-shirt. Ain't it hard being this hardcore? It's a heart made out of Lego. He was the inventor of the Lego match. But yeah, Rox would win this match for her team with the Rox and Roll. Credit to Cheap Shot Entertainment. I'm taking the name for that finishing move. Thank you, Luna Rox. And with the Rox and Roll on Jackie Cave for the win. Jackie Cave is on a bit of a losing streak at the moment. I still believe that you are going to win a match sometime in the near future. Talking about future, in the future, in July, 27th and 28th of July are the next shows. 27th in the Grosvenor Rooms in Sutton on Ashfield, and the 28th in Shirebrook Welfare. And the shows are dubbed Summertime Madness. So if you want to get your Summertime Madness tickets, you can go over to the Hope website and pick those tickets up. £10 for both shows, £6 for individual shows. Well worth going to those. Obviously Shirebrook's not far away from Mansfield, and neither is Sutton in Ashfield. So definitely a couple of things that you should go for there. Jack Ball is next, and he is going against Saron. I've seen Jack Ball in Future before, in Sutton, in Shirebrook, at the Shirebrook Welfare. Really impressed with this young man. Really good wrestler. Never seen Saron. He was masked wrestler. Incidentally, we came back from the shop just as this match was starting. I think they'd probably run over time with the Goose's Roost. But it would be Saron who would win via submission in a hovering crossover leg lock kind of thing. Jack Ball tapping out for the win for Saron. So yeah, interesting. Getting to see new wrestlers all the time in Future, and again, that is a good thing. I love watching new talent in the ring. So we get a fatal 4-way match to finish off the night. It is Sam Kilkenny, the other half of the Future Tag Team Champions and part of Omen, versus Luke Fowler, and he is going against the Tank Jackson Bane. So this is a massive hoss fight. I mean, like 4 big guys, 2 heavy hitting, bit lighter, bit more agile, and then you get Tank and Bjorn in this match. So so Tank and Bjorn in this match, of course. I don't think it's for the future heavyweight championship. Of course, Bjorn is the future heavyweight champion. But yeah, really good match. It's not often that you see 4 big guys go at it in the ring and put on a really good match. But again, this is why I love independent wrestling, because they can get away with doing things that you couldn't do in a WWE show. At one point, Bjorn had Kenny on a chair, and gave him a couple of chops. He got right in, and I was filming it, and he got right in my face, and it's like, do you like that? I said, yeah, that was pretty good. And so he did it again. Sorry, Kenny, just the way it goes. But he's there in WWE, so why not? It's fun. I love it. Love the interaction. And as we go to more shows, obviously we're getting recognised more by the wrestlers, and they appreciate the fact that you're going back month after month to go and see what they do and see how they put things on. But it would be Bjorn, the future heavyweight champion, who would pick up the victory here, and with a move that I have dubbed the rock bottom. It's basically a rock bottom by Bjorn, to pick up the victory in this one. Incidentally, Tank always gets some kind of cut or gets his mouth busted open in matches, just because obviously the heavy hitting and stuff like that. But yeah, you can see that these guys and girls put in a lot of effort into these shows, and you can really appreciate that. Overall, I would definitely give this show definite 4 out of 5. I think the star was dropped with the over complication of the Goose's Roost. I think that could be a good segment if it's cut down a little bit. I know it's all like, what am I going to say? I know it's not scripted. I know it's not like, you've got someone typing away in the back telling you exactly what to say with an earpiece in your ear. But yeah, that segment really good. Just needs to be a little bit shorter. So Bjorn would pick up the victory. Instead, we had a birthday boy in the crowd. So happy birthday, Aiden, for that weekend. So yeah, that is everything that happened at Future 23. Once again, thank you to Mark Banger Rolls for the intro, and we're going to go into the outro right now. And that is everything that happened at Future 23. It took place in Sutton in Ashfield at the Grosvenor Rooms on the 29th of June 2019. Really good show, 4 out of 5 stars for me. I just love Future. I'm a bit biased when it comes to Future anyway. Been there since day one, and really enjoying the shows. So yeah, that is everything that happened there. So I'd suggest you go and get some tickets for that. Check it out if you're in the local area, or even if you're not. Travel, come and see a show on a Saturday night and a Sunday morning. Really good, wholesome family entertainment, and the potential that you could have a Sunday dinner as well for less than £10. Anyway, so you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. If you like the video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and check us out for future videos. So once again, you have been Cheap Shot Nation. Don't forget to check out the Future 24 video, which is going to be very soon after this video, the WrestleGate video and the Frontline video, as well as checking out the weekly videos for NXT UK, which I'm going to carry on doing, I think, because I really enjoy doing those just for me. So yeah, you have been Cheap Shot Nation. I have been your host, Luke, and you have been watching Cheap Shot Entertainment. Ain't it hard being this hardcore, says Jackie Cave, and I will see you next time. Take care of yourselves, and goodbye.
Hi guys, it's me, TJ here, and today on the channel you're going to watch me drink water. Next on the agenda.
The ginger?
I've got to say that one. Next, I'm going to say, if it's your birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear, whoever you are. Happy birthday to you. Thank you
just
for
looked at
watching my YouTube channel. Goodbye. Oh, and remember to smash that subscribe button and turn on the notifications.
Well, have you done it already?
Yeah.
Alright, bye.
Bye.